Hey guys, here are 10 homebuyer hacks that you probably didn't even know existed. In a world of high interest rates and overpriced homes, there are a few ways that you can still buy that house for less than you think. Hey, I'm Iris, a military relocation specialist in Colorado, and I help families from all over buy and sell real estate. And of course, I'm going to be saving the best hack for last. But the first one is pretty awesome too. It's a rate buy down. Now, this is how a rate buy down works. It's like a cheat code for your mortgage. Basically, the seller or sometimes the builder pays to lower your interest rate. Yep, they're helping you out by getting you a lower monthly payment. And I'll share why in a second, why they would want to do this, because I get questions where buyers say, well, why would a seller ever do that? But first, we need to understand what a rate buy down is. But this rate buy down is either temporary or for the whole 30-year loan. For example, a 2-1 buy down, your rate is 2% lower the first year and 1% lower the second year. It's perfect if you want a lower monthly payment now and think rates might drop later so that you can refinance. If a seller is struggling to sell their house, you may want to ask for seller assistance to buy the rate down. And the reason why this is better than actually reducing the price, you also save more on your monthly payment compared to what it would cost per month if you were to reduce the price. So your rate buy down is going to go a lot further than reducing the price, if that makes sense. So here's how much of a difference it would make. This is how Tim over at True Rate breaks down the price. The second homebuyer hack is to find a home that is offering an assumable loan. Because if you're trying to buy a house right now and these high interest rates have you freaking out, this might be the trick to get a lower monthly payment and even a COVID payment, as what we would call it, the COVID rates back then. So what is an assumable loan? Basically, it's when you take over the seller's existing mortgage, same interest rates, same loan terms, just in your name instead of theirs. And here's why that's huge. If the seller locked in a super low rate a few years ago, like 3%, you get to keep that rate instead of taking out a new loan at today's 7% interest rate or whatever crazy number we're at today. Now, not all loans are assumable. You're mainly looking at FHA, VA, and USDA loans. Most conventional loans are not going to allow it. But if you find a seller with one of these, you could be in for some serious savings. But here's the catch. You still have to qualify with the current lender, and you've got to cover the difference between the loan balance and the home's price, either in cash, you can get a second loan, or maybe even negotiate with the seller. It's not a magic fix for everyone, but if you have some cash or a way to bridge that gap, this could mean a way lower monthly payment. For example, a $500,000 house might be anywhere between $3,200 and $3,500 per month based on national averages, just a guesstimate. But if you were to have a lower interest rate, like a 3 or 4% interest rate, that could bring that payment down to well under $3,000 per month. And it all depends on how much you're putting down and everything like that, your credit score, all those things, but it's something to look into. If you want a free list of assumable homes in Colorado Springs, check out the link below. The third hack is to buy a new construction home. Now, before you tune this one out, let me explain. I know a lot of home buyers don't want to buy new build because you don't get the large lot, and you're probably thinking that you're going to have to worry about the builder quality. And you're probably also thinking about HOA. A lot of people don't want to spend money on HOA. Sometimes these taxes are higher, but there are workarounds for all of this. So we can work with a reputable builder who has good service after the fact and who will still honor the warranty that they promise even after the sale, because you can have good service all the way up until closing, and then if you have something wrong and you want to engage that warranty, then sometimes the builder is nowhere to be found. So we want to make sure that we're only working with reputable builders. And you can still get the charm and a decent sized lot on new construction. You just have to know where the best communities are. And if you want the ins and outs, we can work together on this. Just book a consultation with the link below. And if you're worried about having to pay that HOA, we'll talk about that as well. There's pros and cons to both existing homes and new construction. The HOA isn't always all that bad. Sometimes you'll get some really great amenities with the additional metro taxes, and sometimes it's really not that much. And oftentimes it comes with trash. And so if you're paying, $80 to $100 a month and it covers helping keep your neighborhood nice, home values tend to stay higher when there is an HOA because everyone's keeping their neighborhoods nice. Otherwise, they're getting a fine or a letter in the mail. So it's not always bad. Now, with the existing homes, people don't realize this until we're actually out shopping. And this is what people don't like about existing homes and the older homes that people are looking for with more character and the larger lots. But you're often swapping that out with a different problem, such as smells. I don't know why, but for some reason, there's always weird smells in these older houses. I don't know if it's cat smells, if it's just, smell over time, the smell of food, and all these different smells that absorbs into the wall and into the carpet, into the wood of the floor. Almost more often than not, we're walking into homes that have like really bad smells, and then the homeowner tries to cover it up with some scent that only intensifies the horrible smell. The other thing is that these homes are smaller because back in the day, people had smaller homes. They didn't need as much square footage as we do now. Seems like the houses are just getting bigger and bigger. So smaller square footage, they're not energy efficient like a new construction home would be. They are built solid and tested through time, but you're probably going to have to replace windows and put in some new energy efficient appliances and things like that. It's also more difficult to obtain like a 10-year warranty. We can do 1-year warranties all day long on these existing homes. Usually new construction will do a 1-year, a 2-year, and then a 10-year, but you can always get your own warranties with existing homes. That's not a big deal. Those can be worth it, but honestly, I would rather just save the money myself. And then if something were to happen, I have a home repair fund. Every month we put into that. And then if the furnace goes out, then we just drop from there. We can do a monthly payment to ourselves, or we can just pay it off entirely. I like doing the monthly payment to myself just to be able to hold on to that cash longer, but it's your personal preference. Another thing that people complain about as we're out looking at older homes is that you can't get a semi-custom home like you could with new construction. People walk into these old homes and they hate the cabinet doors. They want the gas stove instead of the electric. And you can't really customize all that in an older house unless you do it yourself. Maybe there's a specific trending paint that you like. You're not going to be able to pick that out unless you are with a builder. Usually they let you pick a color. Sometimes they're restrictive on what colors you can pick, but it doesn't hurt to ask. You also don't have to deal with bidding wars with new construction, at least for now. It was different during COVID, but right now you don't have to worry about fighting with other buyers to get that home. But the best part of the buying new construction is the incentives. You can get a much better interest rate, even though sometimes the price of the house could be higher. And maybe the HOA might be higher, maybe taxes might be a little bit higher, but over the life of the loan, it could save you tens of thousands of dollars over the entire time, just on the interest alone. You're also getting new landscaping, you're also getting brand new appliances. So there's a lot of benefits. And it's just something that you have to think about long term, because obviously if you pay a premium price or a higher price than the market value of kind of that area, then it's going to take a lot longer to recoup that price. But over the life of the loan, the interest rate, you're going to save a ton of money and get a house that you really love and that you're really proud of. So let me just say, too many people think that it's a buyer's market right now, and it's not. Homes that are sitting because they need work and no one wants to buy them or pay a premium on an already high-priced home that needs more money put into it. I know a lot of times these pictures look way nicer online than they do in person. I'm telling you, a lot of these houses still need a lot of work and a lot of updating. And when you get into them, you don't see the water stains from maybe a leak or something, or maybe the carpet stains, or maybe you can't smell a house through a picture or a video tour. And so when you get into the house, you're like, now I know why this house has been on the market for this long. But if you're willing to put in the work, you can make a ton of money. When I bought my first single family home, I had a townhouse before, it needed a ton of work. It was a pre-foreclosure. They had like 4 dogs that were in the garage and it smelled disgusting. The walls were painted literally bright red and orange. And there was so much wrong with it. But for us, we saw it as an opportunity to get a really good deal on the house. We walked into 20 grand equity. And when we sold it, we made a ton of money. So just some things to think about. But before you start house hunting, you're going to want to know which houses that you absolutely need to avoid. Don't buy a money pit. I'll show you what that looks like in the video that's popping up next on the screen. And if you need help with real estate, buying or selling, let's hop on a call, link below.